Hello, what's up guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video we'll be looking at Skylords Reborn, and I'll be playing one of the 3 new Christmas maps, the Christmas Fleet on expert difficulty, and this is the one that is a rework of the map on the treasure fleet if you have played it on the campaign PvE mode. For the Christmas fleet is slightly a little bit more difficult as compared to the treasure fleet because of the shadow cards, where all of these shadow cards by its nature should have some form of drawbacks, but because of these PvE shadow cards, they don't have any drawbacks at all, and they have really strong buffs, which makes them pretty strong to fight with. But not to worry, as I'll be showing you how I complete this Christmas fleet on expert difficulty with the usage of several cards like Mouth of the Keeper and Metal Mastery to smooth your progress in completing one of these 3 expert maps in order for you to get your promo Frost Mage card. So without further ado, this is my deck and let me show you my run. So for the Christmas fleet, the toughest part of this map would be to escort the 2nd and the 3rd Wagon, because you don't really have a lot of power. You are probably only at like tier 2, at most tier 3, and the enemies are quite strong. So the beginning is the toughest, but once you are halfway through the game, it is very easy. So at the beginning, I start by building a power well and summon a couple of wind rivers to get rid of this small shadow camp. So I want to get rid of this gateway of shadow because it will spawn more shadow units, and I want to stop this spawning. And when you take a look at this map, as you can see, it's a great rework, very Christmassy, very snowy like a winter. And let me just pause here for a second, or why I say that this map is a little bit difficult because of the shadow cards. And by right, shadow cards in general will have some form of drawback with really strong abilities. For example, the Shadow Mage, the original Shadow Mage card has a drawback whenever Shadow Mage attack by reducing its health. But for this, as you can see, there's no form of reduction in health, and there's an additional ability called the Dark Ritual, which is very strong when it attacks stationary or really slow units. Deals quite a lot of damage, 1200 damage up to 6000, which is insane. And this is just one example of why this map is a lot more difficult. Every 30 seconds it can reduce incoming damage by 50% with no drawbacks at all. The original Skeleton Warriors would simply die from its frenzy after 30 seconds. This is a little harder. Yes, not to worry, we'll be playing this the easier way, and the easier way is to not save the first Wagon, because you can lose one Christmas Wagon. The first Wagon is just a sacrificial lamb for you to obtain more power, because sort of like buying time for you. And yes, once you kind of like destroy the first camp, make sure to go down over here and attack the Reaper first, because it has some regenerative power, and you want to make sure that it's the first unit to die so that it will not activate its regenerative ability of Cannibalize. And from here on, very simple, just obtain power well, and just one power well will do, and make sure you have enough power to get your 2nd monument. And when you got your 2nd monument, make sure to build your cannon tower and build one Mouth of the Keeper. Mouth of the Keeper is really vital in this map, because you want to really prevent enemy units from using their range attacks, because enemies itself are really strong. You want to just cancel out any ranged enemies and just deal with the melee units. So Mouth of the Keeper is a must to make your gameplay much easy. And once you have like 100 power, just build all your powers up as shown. And yep, Cortis Master, they have this ability which summons Nightcrawlers without damaging their health. And what I do is just let them summon the Nightcrawlers, and I just Curse of Oink them. And because they will die after about 20 seconds, the Curse of Oink itself will ensure that the Nightcrawlers die and will not attack your units. Yeah, so I will have 2 cannon towers. This is the basis of the monument defense. 2 cannon towers and 1 Mouth of the Keeper would be really strong to defend the base. But this Mouth of the Keeper could be positioned a little more forward, slightly more forward, because some ranged units can still attack my cannon towers without getting affected by the Mouth of the Keeper spell Bane ability. So as you can see, the Forsakens are attacking my cannon towers, which I do not want. So Mouth of the Keeper should be moved slightly forward. And yeah, make sure to have a lot of wind weavers here, because I can see there's Fallen Sky Elf, couple of really strong range units around here. Just make sure that your base is very well defended. And for the second Wagon, it's really vital for you to follow the Wagon. Don't be too overconfident and move too far out front of the Wagon, because there are cultist masters spawning from this area. Random units will come to attack your Wagon, so make sure to not veer too far off from the gold Wagon. Yep, the trick for the second Wagon is to stick close to it and eliminate all of the enemy units. And if you stick close to the Wagon, it's not really difficult to save the second Wagon, because you have quite a bit of power. Over here you should Meta Mastery Green for the Time Vortex, which helps you to kill more enemies, and a very helpful tower. Also beware at this central area, where because there's these like patrolling units, it might come and attack you. So Ashbone Pyro here is really strong. As you can see, it does not have any health reduction, passive health reduction on the Ashbone Pyro. On top of that, has Siege and Life Stealer, very deadly. And you're highly likely to lure this little Ashbone Pyro with Forsaken patrolling around, because you want to protect your gold Wagon. So just make sure to eliminate all of the shadow units here. Yep, as you can see, a lot of random units will come to attack the gold Wagon, so make sure to always be around the vicinity of the gold Wagon to eliminate all of the shadow units. And you don't want your second Wagon to be destroyed. If it's destroyed, you lose the game. And over here you would have to use two Meta Mastery. The first one is the green Meta Mastery on the Life Stealer. Second is the purple Affinity Meta Mastery on the Necro Blaster. Very helpful for you to use the Meta Mastery on the Necro Blaster, because Necro Blaster deals a lot of damage, and when it is controlled, the enemy units will attack your Necro Blaster, reducing its health. And when it becomes the enemy unit, because the purple Affinity Meta Mastery only allows you to take over the building for a certain period of time, you want the enemy units to damage the Necro Blaster as much as possible and have your wind weavers destroy it finally. Once done, build some walls and place some wind weavers up the walls, because some enemies will be attacking it and we can't really waste a lot of power defending the base. If you can, you should build about 2 living towers at the top here, so that your defenses will be solid. Afterwards, get your third monument, build up all your power wells, and your next form of attack will be Thorn Bugs. Really strong tier 3 units, and summon at least 6 of them, and their attacks will be very strong. Yep, Cultist Master really annoying. So what you do is to Curse of Oink these Nightcrawlers, so they don't really have to worry about these Nightcrawlers, or rather Night Horror, and just focus on attacking the Cultist Master. So after rescuing the second Wagon, this is the next focus, because if you don't focus on your defenses over at the bottom here, your towers will definitely be destroyed because of all the night crawlers. Yep, build breeding grounds. You can help reduce your cost for building all of these Thornbugs, at least 6 of them minimally. And what you want the Thornbugs to do is to clear off enemies, and also might as well destroy this bottom spawning camp. It will help ease your defenses against random shadow units that will spawn on these spawning camps. So yep, that is basically it for the first part. Make sure to defend your Wagon. As you can see, I have not been focusing, but do not be worried if you get attacked by some of the Cultist Master, because you always have Curse of Oink. You have several ways to prevent your Wagon from getting destroyed with tier 3. So yep, destroy the buildings, spawning buildings, very important. Over here is not as bad, because you have time to come back on the next Wagon to destroy these random bases at the side. Yeah, make sure to build Mouth of the Keeper here at the cave. Random shadow units will spawn, and this Mouth of the Keeper will prevent, for example, the Cultist Master from using its ability and summon more Nightcrawlers. So every single area where there's the cave, build a tiny little camp, living towers, root nests with the Mouth of the Keeper, and it will help you to take control of the map, so that you don't have to worry about your Wagon getting attacked randomly. More vision on the map, so that you know where enemies are. So build a couple of bases right at this entire cave area, the top, middle and bottom. very similar to the treasure fleet. And at the middle here, but the middle here has a lot stronger enemies, so I would recommend you building this middle camp the last after you have settled all the cave bases, for example over here. Yeah, so have to quickly just get rid of all of the enemy units. That's the first priority. For the third wagon, thorn bugs are the way to go. Follow your gold wagon, and before the fourth wagon passes, you should start on fortifying your defenses so that your thorn bugs are free to travel around the spawning camps and destroy all of the spawning buildings. That is the objective of the fourth wagon time, or before the fourth wagon would move to the destination. So as you can see, I've already begun to destroy the spawning camps and taking some power wells to get more power. And yep, the mistake of me was to build my Mouth Keeper too far to one side, and Shadow Mage just has its ability, the Dark Ritual, to destroy the building. So make sure your Mouth Keeper are placed in a really strategic location that covers a lot of the buildings, and yeah, prevent ranged units from attacking. All in all, by the time the fourth wagon moves, you are pretty sure to kind of win the map, because you have I hope you have control of the map, but most likely by the fourth wagon you have a good control of the map, several bases built, and you're able to destroy spawning camps. And once the spawning camps are all destroyed, there's no doubt that you will win the game. So this is basically what I'll be doing at the fourth wagon, destroying all the spawning camps. And I do not have to worry about my wagon because I have so many different small bases here, and I can see where the enemies are coming from. So I'm quite at ease to defend or rather attack enemy bases. Yeah, just destroy the enemy bases. And yep, might as well build my middle camp at the fourth wagon. Usually the strongest units attack would pass through this middle area, so the middle base must be very strong. A couple of thorn bugs there would do its job, and maybe razor leaf if you have power to spare. And the top here, build a lot of living towers and razor leaf, because most of the enemies will be coming from the left side, and you want quite a long range unit to destroy all of the shadow units. And yep, this is kind of it. And yep, this is the reason why you want to have razor leaf here, because it has long range and the shadow units will attack the gold wagon passing through around this area. And yeah, once your fourth wagon is rescued, you have a couple of base established. It is a 100% win rate unless you kind of like messed up somewhere. I'm not really sure how, but yeah, as long as you got your 4 bases, the top, the middle area over here, and the middle area covering the cave, and the bottom area that is covered with a really tiny base, with all the base must have some form of Mouth Keeper, and you would certainly win the game. So yes, this is the last wagon, and I'm very sure that it's not an issue because I have everywhere covered. I have units running everywhere. Spawning camps are all destroyed. There's not much of a surprise of where the enemy can attack my wagon. As you can see, very peaceful. Mouth Keeper prevents Shadow Phoenix from attacking. Very easy game. So the main point is right after the third wagon destroy the spawning camps, make sure to build a couple of great bases around the map, and for sure you will win this game. So this is how I complete Christmas Fleet on Expert difficulty. And if you do like my video, do hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys again real soon for my next video.